Hello my dear students, today I shall talk on enzyme inhibition. Enzymes are highly specific because each enzyme usually catalyzes one particular kind of reaction, whereas a non-biological catalyst, organic or inorganic, such as finely divided platinum, catalyzes a wide variety of reactions. Substances or compounds that decrease the rate of an enzyme-catalyzed reactions are known as inhibitors, and the phenomenon is described as enzyme inhibition. Inhibitors generally act by combining either with the substrates of the given reaction, making such substances less reactive at that temperature, or with the enzymes normally required by the given substances, making such enzyme ineffective. In either case, an inhibitor blocks a particular reaction pathway. Next comes enzyme inhibition. Enzyme inhibition can occur in a variety of ways, and its study can reveal a great deal about the nature of the enzyme and the catalyzed reaction. There are three broad categories of enzyme inhibition. They are as follows. Number 1, reversible inhibition. Number 2, irreversible inhibition. Number 3, allosteric inhibition. First one, reversible inhibition. The inhibitors bind non-covalently with enzymes. The reversible inhibition is further subdivided into number 1, competitive inhibition. Next comes non-competitive inhibition. Next comes feedback or end product inhibition. Number 1, competitive inhibition. The inhibitor, which closely resembles the substrate, is regarded as a substrate analog. The inhibitor competes with substrate and binds at the active site of the enzyme but does not undergo any catalysis. As long as the competitive inhibitor holds the active site, the enzyme is not available for the substrate to bind. During the reaction, enzyme-substrate complex and enzyme inhibitor complexes are formed as shown below. Enzyme react with substrate to form enzyme-substrate complex. Enzyme-substrate complex dissociate into enzyme plus product. Enzyme react with inhibitor to form enzyme inhibitor complex. Example number 1. The relative concentration of the substrate and the inhibitor and their respective affinity with the enzyme determines the degree of competitive inhibition. The inhibition could be overcome by a high substrate concentration. In competitive inhibition, the Km value increases whereas Vmax remains unchanged. The enzyme succinate dehydrogenase SDase is a classical example of competitive inhibition with succinic acid as its substrate. The compounds, namely malonic acid, glutaric acid and oxalic acid, have structural similarity with succinic acid and compete with the substrate for binding at the active site of SDase. Example number 2. Methanol is toxic to the body when it is converted to formaldehyde by the enzyme alcohol dehydrogenase SDase. Ethanol can compete with methanol for SDase. Thus, ethanol can be used in the treatment of methanol poisoning. Next comes non-competitive inhibition. The inhibitor binds at a site other than the active site on the enzyme surface. This binding impairs the enzyme function. The inhibitor has no structural resemblance with the substrate. However, there usually exists a strong affinity for the inhibitor which does not interfere with the enzyme substrate binding. But the catalysis is prevented, possibly in the enzyme conformation. The inhibitor generally binds with the enzymes as well as the enzyme-substrate complex. The overall reaction in non-competitive inhibition is represented below. Enzymes react with substrate to form enzyme-substrate complex. Enzyme-substrate complex again dissociate into enzyme and product. Enzyme react with inhibitor to form enzyme-substrate inhibitor and substrate. Enzyme-substrate complex react with inhibitor to form enzyme inhibitor-substrate complex. For non-competitive inhibition, the Km value is unchanged while Bmax is lower. Heavy metal ions, for example silver, lead, mercury, etc., can non-competitively inhibit the enzymes by binding with the cysteine sulfhydryl groups. The general reaction for mercury is shown below. Heavy metal also leads to the formation of covalent bonds with carboxyl groups and histine, often resulting in irreversible inhibition. Next comes feedback or end product inhibition. When the end product of a reaction serves to prevent the formation of one of its own precursors by inhibiting the action of enzyme catalyzing the very reaction, the inhibition is called feedback inhibition. The inhibition of conversion of A to B by X would be such an inhibition. Here, X, the ultimate product of the reaction, serves to prevent the formation of one of its own precursors, B, by inhibiting the action of enzyme A, which catalyzes the change from A to B. In this instance, enzyme A can be called the pacemaker since the entire sequence is effectively regulated by it. An actual example is the formation of cytidine triphosphate (CTP) from aspartic acid and carbamyl phosphate in E. coli. As the critical concentration of CTP is built up, the triphosphate slows down its own formation by inhibiting the enzyme aspartate transcarbamylase (ATCase), which catalyzes the pacemaker step of its own synthesis. When the concentration of triphosphate is sufficiently lowered by metabolic utilization, inhibition is released and its synthesis is renewed. Next comes irreversible inhibition. The inhibitors bind covalently with the enzymes and inactivate them, which is irreversible. These inhibitors are usually toxic poisonous substances. Lodoacetate is an irreversible inhibitor of the enzymes like papain and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase. Lodoacetate combines with sulfhydryl SH groups at the active site of these enzymes and makes them inactive. Diisopropyl fluorophosphate DFP is a nerve gas developed by the Germans during Second World War. DFP irreversibly binds with the enzymes containing serine at the active site. For example, serine proteases, acetylcholine esterase. Many organophosphorus insecticides like malathion are toxic to animals, including man, as they block activity of acetylcholine esterase, essential for nerve conduction, resulting in paralysis of vital body functions. Disulfiram antabuse is a drug used in the treatment of alcoholism. It irreversibly inhibits the enzyme aldehyde dehydrogenase. Alcohol addicts, when treated with disulfiram, become sick due to the accumulation of acetaldehyde, leading alcohol dehydrogenase to yield acetaldehydes. The enzymes aldehyde dehydrogenase converts acetaldehyde to acetic acid. The penicillin, an antibiotic, acts as irreversible inhibitors of serine-containing enzyme and block the bacterial cell wall synthesis. Irreversible inhibitors are frequently used to identify amino acid residues at the active sites of the enzymes and also understand the mechanism of enzyme action. Next comes suicide inhibition. Suicide inhibition is a specialized form of irreversible inhibition. In this case, the original inhibitor, the structural analog or competitive inhibitor, is converted to a more potent form by the same enzyme that ought to be inhibited. The so form inhibitor binds irreversibly with the enzymes. This is in contrast to the original inhibitor which binds reversibly. A good example of suicide inhibition is allopurinol used in the treatment of gout. Allopurinol, an inhibitor of alloxanthine, is a more effective inhibitor of this enzyme. The use of certain purine and pyrimidine analogs in cancer therapy is also explained on the basis of suicide inhibition. For instance, 5-fluorouracil gets converted to fluorodeoxyuridylate, which inhibits the enzyme thymidylate synthetase and thus nucleotide synthesis. Next comes allosteric inhibition. Allosteric inhibition is the process by which a regulatory molecule binds to an enzyme in a spot different from the active site for another molecule. This causes a conformational change in the active site for the second molecule, preventing binding. This process is also known as non-competitive inhibition. Sometimes it has been found that when a series of reactions is catalyzed by a number of enzymes in sequence, the accumulation of the final end product may cause inhibition in the activity of the first enzyme of the series. This inhibition due to a compound which is totally different in structure from the substrate of the enzyme is called allosteric inhibition. And such an enzyme is called allosteric enzyme. This type of inhibition takes place due to the presence of allosteric site on the surface of the allosteric enzyme away from the active site. The final end product molecule fits in the allosteric site and in some way brings about a change in the shape of the enzyme so that the active site of the enzyme becomes unfit for making complex with its substrate. The allosteric inhibition is reversible. When the concentration of the final end product in the cell falls, it leaves the allosteric site and the activity of the allosteric enzyme is restored. Next comes enzyme inhibition and its application. In living materials, inhibitors are of importance in two ways. An inhibitor blocking a normal reaction represents a disease-producing poison, and an inhibitor blocking a disease-producing reaction represents a medicinal drug. The concept of competitive inhibition of enzymes explains the widely observed competitive effect of various substances which are structurally related to biologically active compounds. Often, minor alteration in the chemical structures of a normal compound may result in a so-called analog that competes with the biologically active material itself. Some chemical analogs, by selectively inhibiting certain key enzymes in disease-producing bacteria or cancer cells, can seriously disturb their metabolism, thereby inhibiting their growth and function without seriously affecting the normal host cells. A well-known example of competitive inhibition is the effect of sulfanilamide, a sulfate drug, which pulls the enzyme normally acting on p-aminobenzoic acid, an important growth factor in many bacteria. The similarity in structure of sulfanilamide and p-aminobenzoic acid is quite apparent. There are numerous competitive inhibitors known. Their use has contributed greatly to our understanding of the mechanism of enzyme action, to study the metabolic sequences, and to the development of chemotherapy in medical practice. Such a mechanism is believed to operate in the treatment of certain bacterial infections by sulfate drugs, which chemically resemble the vitamin p-aminobenzoic acid as just indicated, and in the treatment of certain types of cancer by chemicals resembling the base component of DNA. The feedback inhibition is responsible for continually adjusting the rate of a synthesis of metabolic intermediates according to the demands of synthesis. Usually, an end product inhibits an early reaction in its synthesis, thereby avoiding the formation of several intermediates which would be wasteful to the cell. Conclusion. From the above discussion, it is concluded that substances or compounds that decrease the rate of enzyme-catalyzed reaction are known as inhibitors, and the phenomenon is described as enzyme inhibition. Inhibitors generally act by combining either with the substrates of the given reaction, making such substances less reactive at that temperature, or with the enzymes normally required by the given substances, making such enzyme ineffective. In either case, an inhibitor blocks a particular reaction pathway. The concept of competitive inhibition of enzyme explains the widely observed competitive effect of various substances which are structurally related to biologically active compounds. Often, minor alteration in the chemical structure of a normal compound may result in a so-called analog that competes with the biologically active material itself.